going on, everybody? Welcome in to the North End Podcast, episode 224. My name is Zach Graham, your host here in the North End, joined, as always, by my good buddy. He's on record as my best friend. His name is Ian Michaud, and we call him E. He's sitting here on a Thursday, coming off a draw that felt absolutely like a loss. I will ask you, as I always do, although your hat may be giving us a clue there. How you feeling, my friend?
Yeah, just look to the hat. That's why I decided to put this hat on today for this episode. If you can't see it on the YouTube, it's a skateboard company called Death Wish, which I think I might have right now at this very moment. So yeah, decided to throw the old Death Wish hat on there.
Oh,
yeah, not doing
boy.
great, man. That was a kick right in the jejunum, and I wish I could have vomited over and over again after that game. But you know, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're going to move on to Saturday where, the best team in CONCACAF comes to town. But we will, of course, recap last night's match against Atlanta. I think there are multiple takeaways from that as well. And, overall, too, dude, most games that aren't, 3-0 thrashings at the hands of the Loons. Everything was awesome until the last 2 minutes. And then just the rage at the officials that I had plenty of before that goal. I thought that was the worst crew I thought we had all year.
All year. They were absolutely atrocious. And they did impact the game. Usually we can be like, hey, you sucked or you weren't that good and you didn't impact the game, but these clowns absolutely impacted the result of this matchup.
Yep. It's going to be an action-packed episode, man. We got the recap from last night's match against Atlanta. We'll look ahead to Vancouver on the weekend. We've got last business day. Efcito was in action on Tuesday night out there on the West Coast. We're going to check in on Damien, the best keeper in the world, and we will close it out with some nonsense. And we've got some big-time rumors to cover today as well from Eric Goodman, from We Are Austin TV and Verde Nation. So we will talk about all of that before we get into the rest of episode 224 here in the North End. Just want to remind you all listening or watching on the YouTube channel that you can support the show financially by downloading the audio versions of our episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And you can toggle on auto downloads to support the show going forward without having to think about it again. If you want to go the extra mile for us, you can rate and review the show wherever you get your podcasts. Or if you're watching on the YouTube channel, hitting the subscribe button helps us grow the show. You can hit the notification bell to know when a live stream pops up or a new episode goes live. And of course, here on episode 224, hit the thumbs up, like the video, help us battle the YouTube algorithm overlords, and maybe invest in some fucking offside technology, MLS. Atone for your sins. Wash yourselves clean in the waters of the North End. So coming into this one, we didn't get any short-term call-up for Irvin Torres or any of the other Efcito players, but just kind of letting last business day from Tuesday bleed into the first team match. We had been talking about Micah Burton, right? And how he had been in a bench role the last couple games. And then I brought up on Sunday's episode that I remembered that he had an injury a few weeks back. So he wasn't even active for Efcito. And then our buddy Logan Okwa messaged me when we saw the lineup the other night on Tuesday and was like, Micah with the first team, and it turned out Micah with the first team. So Micah was on the bench for this one. And Nico ran out, I think what all of us think is kind of the full strength, best 11 we can put out there with the injuries that we have right now. Stuver and net, of course. BHI did get the night off. Cascante and Svatok back there in the center back pairing. So I guess that's really the only place you could debate that. Biru and Gallagher flanking those guys. Sabo, Ilie, Wolf in the midfield. And then the DP front three. But that front three is... what are we doing, Coach? What are we doing? Why is Bukari on the left?
I don't know. I have no idea. I can't figure it out. It makes absolutely no sense. And then to hear the reasoning that he has after the game, I am even more confused at this point. I do not know why this man, but now it's not hey, we're only playing one of our DPs out of position. It's we're playing two of them out of position. And the switch is just right there. Then they can both play their position.
Yeah.
So I have no fucking clue. It makes no sense to me. I do not understand it. Again, like we speculated, last episode, if Buka didn't start this game, then I was gonna go full on conspiracy theorist as to what was happening behind the scenes with him. But like, even though he does start here, you put him on the left again, and it's baffling, dude. I don't have an answer for it. I don't understand. I don't know if we know what we're doing.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll talk more about that throughout this match and then afterwards, getting into some of these rumors. But on the other side, Atlanta, I think somewhat surprisingly to me, with them having a home match coming up as well on Saturday, they go kind of full force as well. Really, I think Sabalo Janitze is the only one you could argue that would replace somebody in that lineup, with Gregerson out on their back line, both of their fullbacks out as well yesterday. But they start all 4 DPs. It's like, all right, man, like we got to roll this out here and go play. And for the first 30 minutes, neither team wanted to.
Yeah, no, neither team knew what they were doing for the first 30 minutes of this game. They have some fortunate break after a weird header from Buka to Johnny that bounces off his back heel, and they're kind of off to the races. But outside of that, this Atlanta team was awful. Yeah. They were shit all night long. They have one moment at the very end of this match where they got a point, but I walked away from that game being as unimpressed with a team, an opponent that we've played, I think, as I have all season. Maybe outside of the Galaxy, but even they showed a little bit more, in my opinion, than what this Atlanta team showed us last night.
They tried to fight us, at least.
Yeah. That Atlanta team is atrocious. And the fact that you weren't able to walk away with 3 points at home, and we're driving up. We got me, you, my buddy Jones, or our buddy Jones, and we're talking about the mathematics behind not winning this game and what it implies going forward. And then you take into account not getting points, 3 points at home versus dog shit Eastern Conference teams. And you're starting to look at a very, very grim, very, very bleak outlook. Now, I do know that the schedule on the back end, once we get into these summer months and stuff, is much more forgiving than it has been. I don't see how it couldn't be, considering who we played at this point in time. And now you're going to have to play Vancouver for the second time, Minnesota for the second time. But Jesus Christ, man, that Atlanta team was terrible, and we deserved 3 points, and we gave it away. And I think again, the blame pie. I think the division has been moved a bit now. I think there's a bit more on Nico's plate than there was last week after what happened last night. Because if anyone has an answer as to why Bukhari is being forced to play out of position, please tell me.
We got an answer. I don't know if answer is the best word for it. We got an explanation. I just don't think I agree with it. But let's get into this one, because we got a lot to talk about. And like right off the rip here, man, like when we start with the ball in either half, right? We boot it back to Stuver, and then he's going to fire that long ball to one side. We overload and try to get a deflection. But right here, like instead of playing it long, like I think I yelled sneak attack.
Yeah.
Because they just play it short and try to go right up the right side. Galley plays it to Mirtu, and we immediately win a corner 10 seconds in. And nothing doing on that corner. But then after the corner is, I think, got cleared for a goal kick, if I'm not mistaken. And then they drop into the defensive shape, and you see Buka on the left, Mirtu on the right. It's not just for this first play. So you get to the 8th minute here. And again, like I think I have 3 bullet points in the first 35 minutes of this one. 8th minute, the good guys won a free kick to the left of the Atlanta penalty area down there in the north end. Brandon took a foul. That free kick is headed out for a corner, and then that corner is headed away towards Buka. And him and Galley, like you mentioned a minute ago, have this little awkward moment at the back where he tries to tap it back to Galley, but Miguel Almiron is putting pressure on those two guys, and the ball gets pushed from Buka to Galley and like off Galley's heel and lands right at the feet of Moranchuk, who just lobs it over the top. And Almiron is fucking fast, man. Like we have 2 big Newcastle fans sitting right next to us every game, and Damon and Big Fudge, and they're like, that he's basically one-footed and fast as shit, and that was on display here early because Almiron is in on Stuver. even John Gallagher's not catching up to this guy. And Bradley Scott Stuver fucking saved the day again. Well,
Yep.
we say it every other episode, but where would we be without this man?
I have absolutely no. We would be at the bottom. We'd be wooden spoon contenders
Galaxy.
right now. Right? We'd be awful. You know what I mean? And like we're gonna have our DP in on the keeper later in this half, and they had their DP in on our keeper. And Stuver makes a great save here to again save the game because we can only score one goal at a time. One goal is all you're getting.
16th minute I have right here. So neither team very interested in actually playing this game through the first half hour, but
nope.
In the 16th minute, I just thought it was notable because I don't think with how strongly you and I back Osman and still do after this game, at least I do. I guess we can talk about it as we go, but Buka lets a pass from Julio here just scoot right off his foot and out of bounds. Lapse in concentration, that's never going to look good no matter who it is. But I just thought we should note it because there are some Buka detractors out there right now, and it would be foolish to say that again, that he's been doing everything right, the decision making, even when he's on the right side. But I just thought again that's how little we have to talk about here in the first 35 minutes. That him just letting it run out of bounds is notable. Anything for you on that?
I mean, it's ugly, it's sloppy, and it's going to stand out more when you're the DP. That's
for sure.
That's the optics behind it.
So 37th minute here, Austin playing it out of the back, and all of a sudden we break some lines down the right. Owen plays it back through to Mirtu, and Mirtu crosses it towards Vasquez, where Cobb heads it away for Atlanta, but only as far as Buka, edge of the 18, but left of the target. And he takes kind of an assessing touch towards the middle, and he fires a strike, forces Guzan to push it over for a corner, and I think that was our first shot on target. But then on this corner, I think you see one of the many examples of why Bukhari is worse on the left, because it's not his fucking position. He's right foot dominant, and not to the level of Jean or somebody like that, right? But you could see here that they have him scouted, stay on his right foot over there. If he's on the fucking left, he keeps trying to get to his left to whip the ball in. And I guess you could, I could hear an argument about he should be at the DP level, 2-footed enough to be able to put in a ball either direction, but he can't get the ball in. It gets blocked and deflects right to the path of Ilie at the top of the box, who one-times it, and man, Atlanta got very lucky that they got a touch to this, because this was Guzan had no idea about this one. This was going in. And I like seeing that from Ilie, man. When we got guys with space at the top of the box, fucking have one. And they have been doing that. So it's not, we haven't had really a problem with that, I guess, outside of Sabovic against Cincy last weekend. But again, this is where the last 10 minutes of the half, Atlanta really starts to wear down. I believe it was 6-2 shots after the first 25 minutes in favor of the visitors, and Austin reels off 8 in a row to close the half.
Yeah, no, this was a fantastic shot, and Guzan is so thoroughly washed, so incredibly washed, that there was no way he was going to get to this ball if there isn't a touch on it. I like that Ilie kept it low, and I like the attempt. But like you said, there's no reason for us to not come out on the front foot in this game for the first 30 minutes and not know what we're doing at home versus a team that stinks. Yeah. Because that team stinks. And we didn't know what we're doing. And you get your first couple chance generations here later in the half. And as you do mention, we do turn it on a bit. But this should have been a multi-goal win for this team in Austin. It should have been. Guzan is bad at this point in time. So
it's his worst numbers since his last year at Aston Villa, which was 8 years ago. He's been in the league as a good MLS keeper for a long time now. MLS Cup champion. I'm not shitting on the guy's career, but he's in a different place now.
Absolutely. I respect everything he's done. He is not who he was anymore. And it's just so frustrating to watch this team play, watch our guys be out of position, and be searching for some sort of answer as to how we're going to be able to put the ball past this keeper. And we just can't find it.
The 40th minute, Austin wins another free kick, this time on the right corner of the 18. And Owen lines up over it, tries to shoot it through the wall. I didn't think it was a terrible decision there. It deflects out for a corner. And then that corner, we get BV running near post, and Owen puts it right on his head, but Brandon puts it a little bit wide. But again, like the pressure is mounting here to end the half, and in the 43rd minute, Austin back in possession here where Sabovic puts a ball over the top to Brandon. One thing I thought Sabo had a very average at best game again last night. His passes, like on the one hop, were, I think the announcer at one point said that ball has snow on it coming down, and like it wasn't great. And like this one drops like next to Brandon, it bounces, but it goes right into the path of Bukhari. So Buka takes it, gets to the end line on the left. Then he drops it back to Brandon, who pops it up into the 6 over the head of Mirtu. But Galley charges in, gets his head to it, and puts it just wide. And just to finish off this flurry here, 44th minute, off of that goal kick, Svatak pops the ball away from Moranchuk back in our defensive third, pops it high into the air. The fucking trap by Owen Wolf to bring this one down, class. And then an even better through ball to put Mirtu Azuni in on Guzan. And this is just a weak shot with his left. He had time to do more with this, and this was one of the easiest. I mean, Guzan got caught in between as well, and maybe that threw Mirtu off, that he thought the keeper was going to be coming at him, and ends up in this no man's land. But I don't care about that. You have to do better. And like that moment in a vacuum is you no matter who you are in this league, you can miss a goal like that. But when it's been consistent misses in your clear-cut chances, it's just it's building up. And you kind of said before we jumped on here, man, like the pressure that's mounting on Bukhari is maybe covering up a little bit for the failures of Mirtu so far. But I still refuse to believe that these guys can be productive, awesome, goal-scoring, goal-contributing players in the fucking Champions League and La Liga, and Brandon in Liga MX. Obviously, he's been scoring the last week, and you come here and you just stink? That doesn't jive with me.
I don't get it. I don't understand. And this is not you're not in the right position because of the coach thing. This is you one-on-one versus the keeper. This is playing soccer. This is scoring goals, which is what you told us. What you love to do is just bag goals. And this is now the third one-on-one with a keeper that he's had this season?
Yeah, I think you're right.
And we've walked away with, I think, one corner from those three chances.
Potentially, and either way, I don't care about the corners. I want goals from those chances.
Exactly. I'm just highlighting how terrible it is that we can't, we're not even getting rebounds and guys being able to finish because these shots are so, he's not even shooting it. He has no confidence right now. He has none. He's got no confidence in his ability, which doesn't make any fucking sense to me because of the type of player he is. I want to jump back to the Sabo thing. We are missing Danny so much. And like I'm talking to my buddy Aaron, or our buddy. I don't know why I keep saying my buddy. I gotta let you know these people don't like you. I'm sorry to break it to you live on air here, but these are my friends. Okay, now I'm talking to Aaron, and he's like, "When Pep get hurt?" And I was like, "The Houston game." Mm-hmm. And now you look at these last three MLS matchups that we've had. We have 0 goals from open play. 0. You got a PK.
Which team was on the front foot before that injury in that Houston match? It was Austin.
Yep, it was definitely us. And like, so we are missing him really badly because Sabo's been poor. And we know the limitations that Ilya has. And he went out there and he fought last night. I thought Ilya played well. And he stood out on the rewatch for me personally with his effort and his enthusiasm. You see the leadership qualities. But we are just missing that talent factor outside of Owen Wolf in the midfield. And it's hampering us. It really is. We need Pep back in a really, really bad way.
Yeah. And we'd like to think that Robert Taylor is going to be very additive to that rotation. And of course we talked about Dessler as well. Like 3 key pieces missing right now, but it's also, it's not an excuse, man.
Nope,
this month, everybody's tired. Everybody's dinged up right now across the league. Anyways, to close out the half here, man. And sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to, and like I jumped to the Sabo thing there, but like with Mirtu, man, and you had just highlighted how much positive momentum this team had been building up until this point where it's just like, here comes the flurry. You get the Ilya shot, the Owen rip off the free piece, BV header off that corner kick. And then you have this play, which is a golden opportunity to put us on the board. And it just sucked all the life out of the stadium. We're in the north end, and we got all kinds of homies there. Now Nawire's over there. Daniel's over there. Obviously, Fudge. Damon was back in the house.
P-Mike was over there.
P-Mike was there. His girlfriend, Kat. Like, we had everyone. Aaron, Alex, his family, all these lovely people. TJ. Every single person was like, that has to be a goal. It has to be a goal. And it just sucked the life out of us once again.
Shout out to Nawire for the beer, man. That was great.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
And everybody else we ran into, man. It feels like every time we go to the queue, we're running into 2 or 3 new people and kind of expanding our own little personal community here, which is one of the things we were trying to do starting this out. So shout out to everybody. Because, again, everything about last night was great except for the last couple minutes. And this is where I didn't think the officials had great consistency in the first half with their calls. I thought both linesmen also struggled. And I don't understand how first half stoppage, when you take a water break, is +2. Only 2 minutes. And then in the second half, there's 6. You take a water break and we had 1 goal. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just doesn't add up, man. But here in stoppage time, one last Austin push forward to end the half, and Buka creates some space on the left, then swings it to Sabovic at the top. He whips it out to Gallagher on the right, and John plays a teasing ball right into the mixer, where Osman Bukari is crashing in, gets his head to it. I don't know if I've ever seen him head a ball on frame, but it goes right to Guzan, and we go to the half. And like I said, 8 unanswered shots to end the half. You look at any of the momentum charts on any of the statistical outlets, and the last 10 minutes of the first half and the first 15 minutes of the second half is just mountains of green. But
nothing to show for it.
There was no changes at the half. Austin right back onto the front foot here, though, as Biru in the 47th minute gets some space as he crosses midfield, and then about 35 yards out, fires a ball into the Atlanta penalty area that skips once and goes past I would say Abram, but I think it's Abram is at least how we're pronouncing his name on the broadcast. And then it skips past Brandon too. And I don't think that Brandon thought that ball was going to get to him. Mm-hmm. Which again, right now, outside of Owen, who, by the way, I mean, you said this to me earlier, but you're spot on. How many assists should Owen have this far here?
Yeah, he should be right up at the top of the leaderboard, damn near. Like, these balls that he's been playing, he's putting stuff on platters for people. I don't know why Brandon missed this. I don't know why he didn't anticipate that this was going to come his way, because I think, personally, I would assume the ball's always going to make it to me, because then I'd be ready for the moment. But, obviously that's hindsight, but this was another, like you said, the shots continuing in our favor. And Atlanta has nothing going on right now. Like, there's not even a defensive place to talk about. I will talk about Svatok in particular, who I thought was really good defensively last night. And I thought that his physicality, the way that he fought through that heat and everything, and like really impressed me. Like, he did not wear down as we've seen in the past. So I will shout him out there. But they have nothing going on. They're literally doing nothing. And we just can't score. Jesus.
Well, 10 minutes later, we could. Austin wins a free kick. It was Brandon who wins this free kick, like probably 22 or 23 yards out, like almost center of net. I think it was Schliege that took out Brandon there. But the official in this moment has this is where you can absolutely see it on the broadcast, that the head official has no control over this match. There's like 5 Austin players and 5 Atlanta players just right around where this ball is spotted. And he is unable. I think it was the first corner of the match, I think, if I recall correctly, where the official has to stop it twice.
Yep.
Because guys are jostling and falling down and shoving each other. And like, that's where, dude, in the first minute, you can grab control. Yep. And he did not. And you look at this ref's track record, man, he is a younger official in terms of being a head man. And it fucking showed last night. But either way, Brandon ends up lining up over this with Biru, who does a little bit of a fake, like he's going to take it with his left. But Brandon just bangs this over the wall past a diving Guzan. And Guzan did get a touch to it, but it pings in anyways. And this is the first free kick goal for Austin FC since August of 2022. It's about damn time, and well-deserved, man. That was a hell of a shot by Brandon. And for all of the ups and downs, and mostly downs lately for the team and the new additions, Brandon Vasquez has 4 goals in the last 3 matches over an 8-day period. He's got 4 in the league, 6 over all competitions now. On pace for 10 goals in the league, which is, I think, below what we would have expected, but certainly hits the minimum threshold of a DP striker to get to double-digit goals. And if he's heating up now, man, again, that's a great sign. Especially if we can't fucking score from open play, put Brandon on these free kicks, man, and just have one.
Yeah, no, this is a great take. I do think a better keeper saves this personally.
Sure. Yeah.
Brad Guzan has no vertical left. Like he's not getting off the ground anymore. I think I saw, who's that dude? Desmond Watkins, the 464-pound tackle, had like a 28-inch vert. So like he's definitely got more of a vert than Brad Guzan does. I don't want to take away from Brandon here because you're right. You're right. We have been asking for one of the DPs to step up and give us something, and it's been him. And now he's got 4 of our 9 goals. Yeah. And like you said, 10 might be the minimum threshold. If the other guys are doing the minimum, we're feeling good about ourselves. Yeah. And Brandon is doing his job. He's coming along. I also like to see that he hasn't been the body language with him has been good. Even when things aren't going well, I think that his body language has been good. With the other 2, I don't think it has been. And Bucharest has an excuse, in my opinion. This man is not having a good time playing out of position, and he has had his confidence taken from him, whereas Ozuni has lost his confidence with what he's been doing out there on the pitch. But glad to be up 1-0, and we're there with our buddy Jose, Guillermo, and Ashley. Shout out Joe Jack for the tickets, man. Thank you so much. Yes. And we're like, all right. This is how we win, baby. Welcome to Austin FC. 1-0. We're gonna win. This team sucks on the other side. We're gonna be fine.
Dude, Jose has been Austin FC's good luck charm.
Yep.
Like almost every historic, Jose was there in your place for the hat trick game. Yep. For the miracle RSL comeback, right? In the playoffs. Like this man has been at some big. He was at the first ever home match, I think, with me while you were finishing up the bike trip. And so then he's there with the first free kick goal in nearly 3 years last night, and can't get it done.
Because as we know, and as I have said, this team is always one shitty play away from not winning the game, and it happened.
Yeah. And look, man. Again, I have some qualms with the substitutions last night. If you see that out, we don't even talk about it today. But you didn't. So we're going to talk about it.
Yep.
Triple sub for Atlanta here right after the goal, and they had those lined up before that foul was called. So they were going to sub regardless of that ball going into the net. It's Mayumba, Fortune, and Tiare in for Click, Hernandez, and Latte La. So they take off 2 of their 4 DPs, put in some of their young backups there. And then Fortune comes in right away, 59th minute. Hard foul on Gallagher from behind. He gets a yellow card, the first one of the match. And it's just wild that guy, on his first play, he gets a caution. But there's been at least one other identical foul to that one. The guy who pulled down Ozuni in the first half from behind. The one play where dude wraps both arms around John Gallagher's neck and then takes out his legs. I don't care if you got the ball. You can't go up high. What is this, playing in the post in the NBA Finals now? The official was terrible. And again, I think this is unfortunate for Atlanta. I thought there were bad calls both ways. Why does he get a yellow for that? I'm saying I think that should be a yellow in general, but it wasn't consistent with how this guy was calling the game.
No, and I'm a fan of usually letting the guys play and letting them dictate the physicality, but you have to do your job as a referee. And this guy was just lost all night. He was out of his league. You know what I mean? This was 2 teams that were desperate for points in league play right now, and he wasn't ready for it, man. He was shit. There's really no other way to say it.
So they get another sub in here, 69th minute. Sabo Objanidze comes in for Derek Williams, and then 72nd minute, Guzan goes in on a challenge on Bucharest there in the south end, and on the follow through of clearing that ball, which bounces off both guys, kicks Buka in the, studs to his stomach.
Yep.
And I just don't. I guess it's nothing, because that would be a pen, and I don't think we I don't think we deserve a pen for that. But it's just kind of shitty that that's allowed to just go on in that moment. Because usually when you get fucking cleated in the stomach, it's a foul. But just wanted to notice that because I didn't even necessarily see that from the north end at the time, but you certainly see it on the rewatch.
Yeah. I remembered seeing Buka kind of like keel over and was just like, what the hell? And then seeing it on the rewatch was like, yeah, he definitely kicked him right in the stomach here.
So then 79th minute, so essentially 80 minutes in, we finally get subs for the home team. And you get Kolmanich and Obrian there lined up, ready to come in. You get Wolf and Buka off, which is fine, but then I'm just scratching my head at why Jean Kolmanich is playing in the midfield. Like, I know we're a little bit shorthanded there, but I just don't. It feels like you're over tinkering, like you're outsmarting yourself with that. Because I thought for sure we're about to see the 5-back that we just rolled with, right? Julio in there instead of BHI, but you tuck Guilherme in there, or why don't you just bring Guilherme off and go like for like? I mean, maybe Owen needed the break or Buka, right? One of those guys has to come off, but I just don't. What are we getting out of that? And I don't think this isn't Jean Kolmanich's fault.
No,
that we're putting him in the midfield, but it doesn't make sense to me. And we're saying that way too much about this staff's decisions. And it would be one thing if it doesn't make sense and you see the game out, but you're not. But you're not. And it happened after the changes that you made.
I mean, I can't remember what game it was that I brought this up where I was just like, these subs don't make any sense. And it is signaling to me that the coach doesn't know the identity of this team.
Yeah.
That's
we
what
don't have an identity. We said that a couple weeks ago.
But okay, like you should know the personnel and players and like what benefit is Kolmanich giving us in the midfield? There's like you just set the dude up to fail. Like and like you and I have slightly differing opinions on this goal later on and Kolmanich's ability in that moment to defend it. But again, he's out of position. As soon as I saw him, I go, okay, we're going 5-back. Beautiful. Let's just see this fucking game out, please. 1-0. Let's get out of here. And then you see where he's lined up, and it's just like, okay, now we have two left-footed players on the left side of the field who don't really matriculate the ball well. We know Kolmanich can only pass with his left foot. What are we doing? And to wait till the 80th minute when we have had this brutal stretch of games and it's 22,000 degrees out makes no sense. And then like, again, we're going to have to talk about the comments that Nico has later and what he was thinking. But again, like you said, I think overthinking, trying to outsmart yourself, getting a little too cute. This sub made no fucking sense. And like, look, I'm going to say Owen Wolf should have stayed in the game. He's 23 years old. He's 20 years old. Sorry. He's 20 years old. He's in fantastic shape. He's been our best player all season. BV obviously coming on hot right now, but like, if he dies, he dies. All right. We'll throw him a good memorial. It'll be a great tribute. I joke, but like Ilya saw it out. Ilya saw this game out. Get the fuck out of here that we need to get Owen off the field. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, like maybe there's something behind the scenes that we just don't know because we're not over there. But it just, I think what you said, like you're not setting up Jean for success in this moment because we're not going to have a ton of the ball at the end here. And like, I don't think we need, again, I have no problem with Jean coming on. It's the way he was utilized.
And then it's like we talked about the other day too. How is Kolmanich going to get the ball to hot air?
Yeah.
Like how? Like that is not what he does. Yeah. So it's just like not only did you put him in this terrible position, you hamstrung Hader as well. We took Owen off the field, and this was after they had already brought on 3 fresh legs. This is the 80th minute of the game,
4.
dude.
Saba came on too.
So I am baffled by the substitutions.
82nd minute, I think the officials just lose their fucking minds here because Atlanta passes the ball to themselves out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Out of bounds. You can see it on the broadcast. You could see it in the north end. The motherfucker who couldn't see it was the linesman who's clearly out of shape. He couldn't keep up with the play.
Nope.
He could not in multiple instances and did, I think, change the fucking game. Yep. Not necessarily there, but this is atrocious. Even Matt Doyle posted this clip on not because it went out of bounds, but because it was ridiculously bad by Atlanta. Like it was Moranchuk played himself through and out of bounds. Yeah. Austin guys stopped. They stopped because it goes over the line. and Johnny turns around and I don't know if I've ever seen John Gallagher this mad at an official, turning around, throwing a fist like that. We get a double change for Austin in the 84th. CJ and Dubrsarski come on for BV and Sabovich, and then Atlanta exhausts their fifth and final sub, Mosquera, in from Moranchuk after he passed it out of bounds but got away with it. And then you get to stoppage, and like I said earlier, there's 6 fucking minutes. How? I would agree with 6 if you guys gave the proper amount of time in the first half.
Yeah.
Because water break, Austin goal, second half. 6 minutes, okay. But so our goal took 4 minutes? Because it was the same. The only difference between the two halves was the goal. So, and again, like, even if you give 2 or 3 minutes here in the second half, Atlanta's still going to get this chance. But again, I think this starts with an Atlanta corner and the officials missing a foul call. Stuver comes out to punch it. He gets hit by Abram, I believe, is the one who ran into him. And then Abram rolls up on Julio. 2 fouls.
2.
Neither one called. Stuver's on the ground, complaining to the official. He comes over. Nothing happens. So they keep possession after Austin clears it out. Guzan boots it ahead after they had worked it to the back. And Tiare chests it down. Gets it to Almiron, who pops it over the top to Saba in behind. He crosses to an open Tiare, who just ushers it into the net. And it looked live. Again, I know we are sitting on the end line, so we don't have the best vantage point. But it sure looked offside there. It sure looks offside to everybody else around us who's watching the replay. And VAR in Arlington takes a look at it. They don't even recommend a review for the head official. And of course, there's no confidence that the head official would get this right. But let's watch this real quick for those of you who are here on the YouTube. Like, I know we've all seen it at this point, but just like to watch it here together. Goal kick goes forward. Like, decent little play there. Nice pass by Almiron. I mean, he's ahead of the ball the whole way.
That was my argument, was that, like, he never even attempts to get back on. Like, if you want to make the argument that, like, at the point of time where the ball is being played and we don't have the fucking technology to detect this, but this guy never even tried. He was offside.
There's literally everybody in 123 holding their hands up right there, waiting for the fucking official. And let's look. I think I have the best freeze frame that I've seen of this, because that is at the moment that the ball is played.
Yep, and that's the perfect moment the ball's been played. It's off his foot.
It is very, very close. But rereading the offside rule, right, this morning, any part of your leg or your body, right? The arm does not count. But to me here, that ball is not inside the 6. It's on the line.
Yep.
His knee, and I think you could make the argument, again, this is not a perfect angle, right? But I think it looks like to me, and I know I'm biased, but that knee and that shoulder are in the 6-yard box. It sure looks like it. And it's not that he's coming from behind and going forward.
Correct.
He was offside.
Correct.
And trying to get back on. So and my big problem is, look at the linesman.
Yep.
Not on the ball.
Nope.
You don't have a view of this.
Nope.
And I know it'll never happen, but I've been in every sport. Officials need to be held accountable. When you fuck up, like a player or a coach or a GM, those guys get fired, they get benched, they get whatever. Officials need the accountability too. You don't get a pass for being bad at your job, man. This guy, he was out of shape.
Yeah. No.
Get a sub.
Yeah, for real. If he
Official can't handle the heat.
He's so far behind the play.
I know.
It's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing. And go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think I'm most disappointed that we are fans of a league that skimps like this.
Yeah.
Why do we not have the technology? It's out there. Better leagues do. If you guys really want to be a serious fucking league, we should have the technology. Invest in this, because it's got, look, man, if these 2 points are the make or break between the playoffs, like, you are losing fans. League, it is a single entity. Everything all these clubs are doing affects the entire league. So get the fucking, invest in this, man. And we know they're not gonna. They're cheap as shit. But like the fact that we don't have the tech, because if we had the technology, then we would know. If this is onside, fucking fine, man.
Yeah.
Fine.
Okay.
Then we're talking to the players. But I can't blame them in this moment because I don't think this should have counted.
It shouldn't have counted. You're spot on. And if you want us to take you seriously, then fucking allow us to do so by having the technology to understand when something is actually offsides or onsides. And like, this is just embarrassing. And then you compound it with the fact that the ref is not in the position that he needs to be in to accurately call this fucking call. And I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna throw a stinker about it. I'm gonna have a little poo-poo about it because you just fucked me. And I had to walk out of that stadium miserable and spend last night being miserable. And this morning texting you immediately, God fucking damn it. Like we just got kicked again by the soccer gods, and I just don't understand it. And yeah, man, you know, and you walk out of there now, and it was a loss in my opinion. It's a loss. It should have been 3 points. It would have been huge for this team to get 3 points here, knowing who you got coming to town on Saturday and where we're sitting now. Now you're in 8th. You're tied with San Jose, who was in the basement 3 weeks ago. You're 1 point up on Colorado. You're 1 point up on FC Dallas. Colorado plays Salt Lake next week. These teams can jump us if we know what's going to happen on Saturday. We don't know what's going to happen, but if what we're thinking is that it's going to be hard to beat a Vancouver team, no matter, you could play them in, I don't know, Alcatraz.
Reopen it.
Make it a soccer field versus fucking. It's just you're in trouble now, man. And the fact that this has happened, and as I said earlier, and as I've said on other episodes, that this Austin team is always just one fucky play away from it all disappearing. And this is what happens. And this man is off. Like I said, he's way off to begin the play.
Throwing these officials in Alcatraz. Rubio does come on for Zuni right after the goal, but nothing doing. End in a 1-1 draw. So 51% possession on the night for Austin FC. 18 shots to 8 in favor of the home team, but 5 apiece in terms of those shots being on target. Austin FC, one big chance. That is, of course, the Mirtu Izuni breakaway. So 1 missed. 9 corners to 5 in favor of Austin. On FOTMob's XG model, 0.8 XG for Austin, 1.33 for Atlanta. And then you look at the expected goals on target, exactly 0.8 for Austin and 1.35 for Atlanta. But that Tiare goal, man, was 0.8 of their XG and was 0.99 expected goals on target. So in those metrics, Austin doubled them up. So again, like, was it pretty up to that point? No. But like we've said, man, if you can grind out 1-0 wins and get back to that being an identity, is it exciting? No. But we just want to win.
Yeah,
I want to win.
Wolf. It's the best. We'll fucking take it. And I can't throughout the course of the game, no matter what sport you're playing, the entirety of the game does not come down to a single play and a single moment. But good Lord, if Mirtu Izuni could score a goal in a one-on-one situation with a goalkeeper, we're not having this conversation. And that's who we paid to score goals. The refs fucked up. They did a poor job the entire game, so you don't get any benefit of the doubt out of me. And this Atlanta team did not deserve a single point from this game. I was looking at some of the highlights on YouTube, and there's Atlanta fans, and they're just saying, "Thank God we were awful. We didn't deserve a single thing. Yeah. How could we walk out of here with a point?" Yeah. And it's just been the story of this season with this iteration of this club. There is just always an instance where it's like, how do we get out of here with 3? And like, if it's going to be 1-0 and we're going to do it, and God damn it, you should have gone to the 5-back. I don't know what else to say. Like, you should have gone to the 5-back. Did the refs screw us? Yes. Did we make some poor decisions in regard to the substitutions, where we were playing guys, how people played and how they executed, particularly with Mirtu and his one-on-one situation? Yes. So you did yourself no favors, and then this happens at the end because you had the door open. It was still open until the woman is singing, baby. There's still a time. So, in my opinion, we did ourselves no favors. You lose this game, and now you're in hot fucking water. You're in deep trouble right now. and you got to get this thing turned around. And like, I don't know when it's coming, to be honest with you. And
I think the getting that trio of players, starting caliber players, especially Dessler and Danny, back will be huge. As long as we can keep everybody else relatively healthy until we get them back, But it's just supremely unfortunate that the Dessler timeline was completely wrong. Yeah. 6 to 8 weeks initially. It's been 10.
Yeah, and he's not even close, in my opinion.
Apparently.
He does. Yeah, he does not look like he's God, this was such a winnable game, man. And like this is a huge these 2 points you just dropped here are going to come back to bite us in the butt. I can promise you that.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree there.
Whether it's not whether it's dodging the wild card play-in that you might have to have, whether it's the difference between making the playoffs at all and missing the playoffs, whether it's the difference between getting a home matchup or the more home matchups in the series, like it's going to come back to hurt you and it's going to come back to haunt you. And this is just really, really tough, man. And I feel so shitty for a lot of these guys. Yeah. Because I know they're putting it out there and I know that they're laying it out there and they're the effort's there. I can see that. But when you're not getting the results, man, it can just go sour so quick.
So just a couple comments from Coach. He also thought the goal was offside, which you could see in the moment with him. And again, and the fourth official too, man. You see on the rewatch, Nico is, screaming after the restart where they don't go and review it or don't send the head official to go review it. He's screaming after the restart. But he's in his coaching box. He's in the technical area. Why is the fourth official coming over and saying jack shit, man? I don't know. Anyways.
Yep.
Here's what I have an issue with. We wanted to create an overload on the right side and have someone that stretched the line like Mirtu. And let me stop you there.
Stopped.
Somebody to stretch the line. Not the fastest fucking guy on the field. Osman Bukhari in his natural position. The one thing he does right every game is stretch the line.
Yep.
And you can't find it. He didn't touch the ball in the first half hour.
Nope.
On the wrong side.
Nope.
And how well did you stretch the line with Mirtu?
Yeah,
he was out there.
He did not do it once outside of the ball that Owen plays him spectacularly through. That was it. That was literally the only time that he stretched the line because he wasn't even touching the ball either, really.
And to credit Coach, he goes on to say, you could see in the second half a couple of times, he did a really good job on that. You know who does it all the damn time? Osman Bukhari. Yep. And we had Bukhari more isolated for one-on-one situations, for crosses. At the beginning of the game, it took us a while to find Buka and to try to connect with him. But throughout the game, as the game went on, we were able to have more opportunities to find him. And that's true. Mm-hmm. But why? And I know that's his explanation. We want Mirtu to stretch the line, create an overload. Why can't Osman Bukhari do that?
And why wouldn't we want Uzuni to be the guy on the other side of that, to be in those one-on-one situations, which we've been told is what he excels at. And it hasn't happened either.
I don't know, man. Again, I think you're, what you've been saying, right? Where it's like they don't know what they're doing with this group either. And I understand it's challenging right now with the shorthanded nature of the team, right? Mm-hmm. It is 3 very important guys that are missing. But like we said earlier, it's not an excuse. And you guys are getting it wrong. You're getting it wrong.
Yep. And these are the 3 guys who I don't think you need to be overly cute with, because you can just let the talent that they have, the speed that Buka possesses, the physicality that BV possesses, the ability that Uzuni has to just go out there and play their natural position where they are most comfortable. And
Mirtu can play on the right, but in his career, it's been more central forward and left wing. Mm-hmm. And Buka is all right wing.
Yep.
Minimal sprinkles of center forward and things like that. But we know, and again, like I said, dude, I said it to you last night, again, walking out of there. Josh Wolf at least was right about 2 things. Osman Bukhari on the fucking right and Owen Wolf as a whole.
Yeah. And I mean, Mirtu has a natural disposition to float to the middle. That he naturally finds himself floating towards the middle of the pitch. So like to call him a line breaker on the right side of the field where we're going to get balls. And like, we come out in a bit of a high press and I'm just like, well, what, okay. Like now we're going to bust this out. And I understood like, their back line was beat up. And like, this is a team that has given up 23 goals before they played us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they're down 3 dudes on the back line. And you get 1 goal out of this game. So your hypothesis was wrong. It was the wrong assessment. And then when you compound that with the way that you substituted, how long it took you to substitute.
I mean, again, he said, and I'm pulling this from Phil West over there at Verde All Day. So if you haven't signed up yet, you can get access to those articles and read these for yourself. But Nico also said, I think we built that momentum after the first goal, that it was very difficult for me to change anything because we were very close to scoring a second goal. I didn't want to touch anything because we were all over them. I mean, it was unbelievable. And dude, what was unbelievable is that you guys can't score.
Yeah, we had 0 open play goals. So what was happening?
Well, and I already closed out of the fucking MLS stat graphics, but 15 of our 18 shots were poor XG chances. You were not close to scoring.
No, you were not. Nope. Your best, I mean, outside of the open play Ilya shot, the other, that was it, really. Like, you get the Owen attempt off of a cheeky one from the set piece. You get the BV header off of the corner kick. I did not see a team that is making unbelievable chances. And like, even then, we had just played that 5-back, and I thought it looked okay versus a way better team. Yeah. And now you spotted the goal. You're up. Let's win. Let's just win the game. Let's just win the fucking game.
Yeah, and I mean, again, from a wide view, before we just move on, it is still in this project with this group. This group may be changing, but like overall, it's still early, right? 14 total games in with this group. The problem is, and none of us expected, even as a whole in the season. We said we thought this team should be able to get to a top 4 position, but in our preseason predictions, we had 5th, right? So you're not far off of that from right now. Doesn't feel like you're going to be getting to 5th anytime soon, but I think the biggest problem, for me at least, is that it's regression right now, not progression. We are not seeing improvements. And again, like, you still have to factor in the context of who is out injured, but the coaching staff should be able to figure out ways to work around that.
Yep.
And you're just not right now. Everything is ugly.
Yeah.
Except for Brandon Vasquez and Owen Wolf.
Yeah. And for me, I think there's a play early in the first half where a ball's coming to BV and he backheels it with the intention of going to Mirtu. And Mirtu just has no idea what he's thinking. Yeah. And would it have been a difficult play to complete? Yes, for sure. It would have been cheeky. It would have been beautiful.
The backheel kind of came like it was inaccurate then. Like he didn't get the right touch on it, if we're thinking of the same play.
I agree. Yes. No, I'm saying. But it's still, you could see that they just weren't on the same page. That this is what's coming my way. The execution might have been a bit off, but like the chemistry for this team, and like we're going to have to talk about Buka some more here, is poor right now. And like there's just not a lot of cohesion from that standpoint. And I am concerned about that because like you said, you still have to go out there with the guys that you have available and find ways to win games, particularly at home. And we are incapable of doing that right now. And now you have a buzzsaw coming into town on Saturday.
Yeah, and before we get to the Vancouver preview, man, let's talk some rumors. Rumor mill in the middle of May, because this comes out, I want to say Tuesday morning. Eric Goodman from the Austin Chronicle posts, according to an MLS source. So this is a single source report here. Representatives for Kevin De Bruyne recently contacted Austin FC expressing interest in the Verde and Black as a potential next stop for the Belgian midfielder. However, the salary expectations were at a level that Austin could not consider. And so if that number is consistent with, I believe, Tom Bogert's reporting from about a month ago, right? When we were talking about San Diego has his rights, then they relinquished them. Chicago is interested, but Miami has his discovery rights now. I believe the number that was bandied about was like 15 mil a year for De Bruyne, which like I just don't think we're going to do, even if we had a DP spot. Like, I don't know if maybe, like I would like that from the name value. And if he stays healthy and gives a shit, like, yeah, of course, KDB. Yeah. But where we're at right now, I just don't, at the time, at least, I didn't think there was any chance, right? Even as Eric is saying, right, they're essentially passing on this, because I think he did do a follow-up post that's just like, yeah, we don't have DP slots, we can't make it work. But then let's loop in this morning from We Are Austin TV and Verde Nation, picking up reports out of Serbia that Red Star might want Osman back. And if you go read the story that they're sourcing this from, when you translate it, right, we're always going to lose a little bit in that Google Translate, but it reads very much like agent, putting that out there. And I don't think Osman's agent puts that out there. Again, this is my own speculation. I don't think Osman's agent puts that out there if Osman isn't okay with that and maybe wants that. And you know what, man? Who could blame him?
Yeah.
What are we doing with this guy?
Yeah.
This guy for Red Star had 45 goal contributions and 78 appearances. Guess what? Playing the right goddamn wing.
Yeah. I can't. It's been a complete mishandling of him and his ability this year. And he's still got to go out there. He's still got to do his job, and he's got to rep the badge, and he's got to put these colors on and play with some pride and everything, which I do think he has. And
he did last night for sure.
Yep. And I understand the frustration that he's only got the one goal in the opening match, which was a very fluky, very lucky kind of goal. And that his decision-making has been poor at times in the final third, and his finishing on shots has been poor, but you're doing this dude no favors, zero favors. And when every single person in the North End last night turns around and looks at us and is like, why is Usman on the left?
I forgot who said it to us first, but somebody from rows away goes, yo, Zach, he's on the left.
Yeah. And
might have been B. I don't know.
And I was just like, holy shit. And when everyone's picking up on it, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
When you look at his career numbers for his expected goals and expected assists per 90 is 0.48. Last year under Josh Wolf, 0.49. This year under Nico Estevez, 0.32. Career low.
Yep. It's bad, man. He is not being utilized properly. He looks frustrated. I don't think that he has a lot of trust or faith in this coaching staff to use him properly. And, that's that. The other side of this is, if this happens and he goes back over there, this is a catastrophic failure on Roto's plate. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, this is who it's going to come down on, is because this was the guy that you brought in. And if he goes back there and you sell him for a loss, because they're not paying the same thing that we paid for him, right?
Wouldn't think so.
So you sell him back to his club for a loss. That is a big stain on your resume here in Austin. Yeah, and with that De Bruyne rumor, right? There's 3 teams in Texas. What are the appealing things about Texas when you come over here? If you're coming over there, no state income tax. You're not getting taxed on that shit. And for the fact that Austin has routinely been the team that has various degrees of links to some of these players, there is a bit of an interest to play for this club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just you see I'm pretty sure Dallas is dead last in attendance this year in regard to MLS. Houston, obviously, always at the bottom of that list. Us, one of the top teams. I think we're top 10, just based on stadium capacity as well. So there is interest to play here. And if this happens, man, where he's gone, failure, top to bottom.
Well, and look, I don't want to move on from Osman.
No,
but
I don't.
If you move him out for KDB, let's live in that world for a second.
Okay.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
KDB feeding the ball to the two strikers. I think that's going to work a little bit better than what we're doing right now.
I think so too, because we don't know what the fuck we're doing right now.
So obviously this is something to watch as the summer window approaches. Part of that rumor is that Red Star is getting ready for their Champions League qualifiers and trying to reinforce their squad. And apparently since Buka was sold last year, they have struggled at right wing. I think that the kind of replacement for him there has been off and on injured for the better part of the last year. So again, man, I do not fault Osman at all for this because there's no way this is what he signed up for.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give him some fault with the way he's executed in the final third at times, for sure. But
I don't blame him for wanting to leave, though.
Yeah. No, I totally get you, man. I mean, if he's over there scoring, 44 goal contributions, having a good time, winning games, playing in Champions League games, then yeah, I can understand why he would want to go back. I don't want him gone either. I don't. But someone has to figure it out. And it seems like a very simple fix. Play him on the right, let him get out into space.
Yeah. And then we can come down on him if he sends the ball into the fucking 13th row.
Which I had no problem clowning him for because it was an absolutely atrocious shot. Yeah. And the other thing, like, I'm jumping back all the way into the game at this point just because I'm so fucking. But, like, one thing that had been working in the first half was sweeping balls, and I shouldn't have said working, but was available.
Yeah.
Was sweeping balls from Biru's left foot over the top. And those balls were not as accurate as they would have been if they were coming off of Komanic's foot.
Sure.
And we kind of moved away from that in the second half. And then that makes the substitution even more confusing to me, where you bring Komanic in at the midfield position. Yeah. But because that was working in the first half. I know that's a tangent here just popped into my head, but it's just more frustration and also points to the fact that I don't believe what Nico said at the end of that press conference. I don't.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, he may believe it. I just don't buy that that's the right move.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, I think it's something where you're just trying to outsmart yourself. Of course, he's pressing too. He's trying to get this thing figured out. Sure. He's trying to come up with ways, but we don't have to get this cute with it.
Yeah. Well, just like the team, we're going to go ahead and move on because we are about 48 hours from kickoff at Q2 against the number one team in the league, Vancouver, coming to town here on Saturday night, 7:30 kickoff, at least for now, at the QE. I know you are on the match preview. This full preview will be up on the northendpodcast.com on Friday. But kick us off here. Again, once we get to these teams where we've already seen them, we don't need the history lesson anymore, but I think we can, wax poetic about how good this fucking team is, where I think the first preview, you said, who have they played?
Yeah. Well, there is a bit of history to be had here. They just handed us the worst loss in club history with that 5-1 buzzsaw.
Tied.
Slashing. Yeah, sorry. So this team, man, when we played them the first time, right, we were trying to figure out why, how are they doing this? Why are they so good? Like, the roster didn't have significant turnover. Obviously, they made the coaching change there. They got rid of your boy and brought in Jesper. And it's been something where this team is getting contributions out of every single player, top to bottom. They're missing their best player. Ryan Gold hasn't. I mean, he's played 3 games?
I think I thought it was like a game and a half.
He's barely played at all. They're sitting on the top of the Western Conference. They're a point off the Supporters Shield. They're in the CONCACAF Champions final. And yes, I did make fun of myself in this article because I wrote the first one as well. And I was like, yeah, Vancouver has, I believe they were sitting on 16 points at the time. And I was just like, yeah, but who have they beaten? Well, since I've asked that, they beat us 5-1. Then they do 5-1 aggregate on Miami in CCC.
Beat the shit out of them. So Austin FC, Inter Miami, same.
There we go. 3-1 ass whooping of Minnesota, who's super duper hot. And then their most recent match, they're down 2-0 versus a highly motivated LAFC team that definitely wanted to win that game. They went into BC Place with the intention of causing damage. Go up 2-0 on the Caps. Caps come right back like it's nothing. 2-2, get out of there with a point. So, like, this team is performing at such a fantastic level. And I know that we're down right now, but things are about to probably get worse when this team comes into town. Obviously, unless you've been living under Enchanted Rock doing mushrooms, you remember the game.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm going to take that right now. You remember the game versus Vancouver where Brian White scored 4 goals. The man had a 9.9 FOP mob rating. I don't know if you can get a 10. I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah, right.
But, like, he had 4 goals. He also drew a PK and was like, hey, you go ahead, get yourself one.
Yeah.
So gave that away.
Handed that off.
I mean, and like we talked about when Austin was obviously sitting in second place, hovering around that top position, about our defense and how our defense had been great. Well, you know who's got the best defense in the Western Conference right now? Vancouver Whitecaps, sitting on 10 goals allowed, and they're scoring on top of that. So it's just like, this is a team that you're going to have your absolute hands full with. I did look at their fixtures going forward. Obviously, they're going to have the CONCACAF Champions Cup coming up. That's June 1st. But after this game, they're on the road in RSL. So, like, you have this matchup with Austin. You're playing in the heat. Then you go to RSL. You're playing in the elevation. So, like, we know Vancouver, dome team. We do have that going for us, as paltry as that is. But we are now 1 win, 6 losses, 2 draws versus this team.
Yep.
All time.
4 losses, 2 draws over the last 6.
And those 2 draws were 0-0 games where we gave up 37 total shots to Vancouver. Okay. So this has not been a nice matchup for us, no matter where we play them. Last time we beat them, 3-0 win back in 2022. Maxi Urruti brace, Sebastian Drew. Oh my God. I forgot.
He's too far gone now.
We're gonna go back to the reliable Seba header to put us up 3-0 and get the win there. But this is a good fucking team, man. They're getting performances out of everybody, from supplemental roster guys to TAM players to DP guys. They are a good ass team.
To fucking first round draft picks, Tate Johnson,
with a broken arm.
And let me just make you feel even worse about their schedule. They did not play yesterday. They do not play next Wednesday. So there is no reason for them not to roll out the full steamroller here and just completely pummel us. Like, this is the team that is tied for second in goals per match. Like you said, best defense in the league in terms of goals conceded. They're doing all of that with the 3rd most average possession in MLS. They're 2nd in clean sheets, 3rd in expected goals, 3rd on shots on target, 4th in big chances created. I mean, this is a team, the least XG conceded.
Yep.
And this is a game that you think, on our side, that you're going to have to rotate. Because we're going after Houston on Wednesday, right? And speaking of Houston, I think if this is going to happen, we're going to see more of this from Lemurga and some of the supporters groups. Chris gave us a heads up today, as one of the capos, that they're maybe planning, like, everybody wear black to the Houston game for, like, rivalry match. I'm down with that. If we can spread that word. So we'll see. We'll talk about that on Sunday if that's happening. But I just think, unless I don't know how much else we have to add on Vancouver here. Yeah. Like, I don't think Gald is planning to be back for this one. I think he's expected to be ready for the final at the beginning of June. So, like, fuck, man, maybe he is active on the bench here. Like, he's not going to start.
Nope.
But it almost doesn't matter who they start, because they've been rotating heavily in the league the entire year going through CONCACAF. They have 11 different goal scorers, right? 6 of those have scored multiple goals. Brian White, 4 of his 8 league goals, and it feels like he has like 8 others in CONCACAF.
Yeah.
4 of those 8 came against us. It's almost half of our goal total for the entire season. There's just no way you can shape this where Austin is favored. It's just the reality.
And they didn't have Jaden Nelson the first matchup. And he's back now, and he's got 4 goals. And
Adekubi was out
2
too.
goals and 4 assists. Yep. So, like, you got 2 goals out of Tristan Blackman. Tate Johnson's got 1. Like, Berhalter has been on fire, which, if you recall, I hope everyone remembers.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. Yeah.
I'll just say that. I didn't forget.
Start Diego.
I hope I hope people remember what happened at the end of that game with him. You're
Yep.
getting, I mean, Pedro Vite. They had who was that with the flick? Rios, who doesn't even start.
Yep.
You're getting
Yeah.
shit out of
Yeah.
Ahmed, who's a
Yeah.
supplemental guy. So like this team is just rolling right now. It doesn't matter who they play. They have a full identity. They know who they are. We understand how good Kubas is. This is a great team, man. And like you said, there's no way that you can logically look at this and be like, yeah, Austin's in good shape here, because BV's been running ragged, and like credit to him, you know, he secures that win for us versus El Paso. He gets the goal versus Cincy. He scores for us last night. But like, I'm of the mindset where it's like you come out rotated, man. You live with the result here, and you know, you just try to play them tough, and then you gear up for Wednesday when you got Houston coming to town.
Yeah,
and you go for that, and you go for the cup.
Yeah. So like, who do you think we exactly see here? And I want to start from the back. I think Stuver in net.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm not taking. I don't want to see Steph on Wednesday either. We might, and if we do, I'm backing him. It's just you don't feel as good about it.
Of course not.
And you get BHI back in there. And I think for Svatok, give him a break. Let Julio go out there because I want Svatok BHI on Wednesday.
Yep.
And then Johnny, I mean, unless Dessler's not starting, so Johnny's going out there again, fucking Johnny's Iron Man,
playing 90.
And if you rotate Kolmanich in, I'm fucking fine with it, man. Like, get Guilherme some rest. Because Guilherme didn't get rest against Cincy.
Yep.
And he didn't get rest last night.
Nope. Yep. I'm okay. Yep. Let's move up. This is where it gets real dicey.
I think one of Savovich or Ilie should see the bench. Ilie maybe just to keep him alive. Yeah. And Sabo for performance reasons. But like we also don't have that many guys that we can't, like, maybe we get an Irvin call up here. There is no FCTO match this week. They go again next Friday. Micah was on the bench last night.
Yep.
Dude, again, you could maybe see complete rotation. Like if we get to the front, I think no matter what, even if it's not full rotation here, I think you see CJ's first start.
I'm right with you there. I do think you see CJ's first start here. I think BV has to get some rest, man. And that's who's going to back him up. You could go Diego for one of those guys with Sabo or Ilie.
I think I expect to see Diego, but maybe for a half, right? Like, because again, I don't think he can play much more than 60.
Yeah. If you can split him and Duber minutes half and half, I think I'm okay with that. And then start Bukari on the right and give Azuni the night off. And let Hot Air go on the left. Please. Yeah. Do it. Yeah. Please. Like, again, we went over his minute. Like I went over his minutes the last game. He didn't play again. He didn't play 90 last night either. But like, he should be well rested, or not well rested. He should be in form.
Yeah,
because like he's got since March 23rd, 31 minutes, 66, 71, 66, 29, 90, 61, 45, 9, 79.
Yeah,
he's got to play. Fucking let him play. Let him try to get right here. And good luck to you.
Yeah, and I think, really, no matter how you line up, it's just going to be a tall task. Yep. You have anything else to add on this one?
No. No.
All right, man. No. What's the score on Saturday?
Oh, God. You go first.
I got 2-0 Vancouver.
1-0 Austin. Don't talk to me.
Come on down to Farmer Field where the champions play. Get ready for the game. It's last business day.
Last business day on episode 224 of the North End podcast. FCTO was out on the West Coast Tuesday night taking on Ventura County FC. Of course, that is the LA Galaxy's second team. And we talked about it on Sunday, that this team in Ventura, first place in the West, not anymore. Well, you might still be in first, but taken down by Austin SC2. Like I mentioned earlier, right, when we talked about Micah was not in the team here. Irvin did get the start, though, and Peter Grogan not in the team. So I went through the schedule, man. Like, remember, he got the red card last time out.
Yep.
So I don't know if they changed the rule or not, because remember, like, Next Pro at least had the funky rule where you get suspended the next time you play the same team. We do play Sporting again. So maybe it was a team suspension. Maybe he tweaked his ankle in practice. I don't know, but he was not active on the night. And just a couple notes from this one, as you see on FOTMob, Ruben Bonachera gets the man of the match there with the 8 FOTMob rating in the 18th minute. And I thought, man, watching this one, like, Austin FC 2 played a very good defensive game, got outshot, but you look at the stats here. 1 shot on target out of the 14 from Ventura. Like, the defense did great at limiting their chances to a lot of those poor XG shots, right? So in the 18th minute, Ventura got a free kick right at the edge of the penalty area, and it was pretty dangerous placement. And I think we've got a Vanny here. So I think it's Greg Vanny's kid who's on the second team here that we did not notice in the preview. But Vanny puts it towards the upper 90. It was a very nice shot here. And Charlie Farah with an even better save to keep it out. And that was the only shot on target of the night for Ventura. So you go the last 70-plus minutes of this match without allowing a shot on target. At the half, you did get Anthony Deonda in for Vlad Danchutu up top. So you see Anthony continuing to be on the front line this year rather than at his natural left back position. Right out of the break, first possession, Daniel Chesla at that right back spot plays a great ball over the top for Irvin Torres, who I thought got a little bit lucky that the Ventura defender in this moment also gets turned around, but then Irvin squares it centrally for Jorge Alastue and puts it right into the hands of Brady Scott. I think Jorge wants that one back. Ventura had 56% of the ball in the second half, man, and 10 shots to 3, but again, none on target. 69th minute, Deonda whips a ball in towards Ruben Bonachera, and his touch to bring it down was a little bit loose, and it goes into the path of Brady Scott, but like Jimmy sneaks in like behind a keeper. I don't know if you saw this goal. I should have sent it to you too, because this is saucy as hell. Scott is about to pick it up. Jimmy sneaks in around the Ventura defender, pokes it away before Scott like gets down for it. And so that ball gets jarred loose. Jimmy turns around, backheels it in between two Ventura defenders who are trying to keep it out on the goal line, just desperately scrambling there. Austin has the lead. I don't know who all was out there, man, but there were a lot of cheers in the stands for Austin in this one. So shout out to any of the fans who are either, LA based or traveled out there, whether it was friends, family, whatever. But holy shit, Jimmy, this
awesome.
This was saucy, man. You got to go check it out.
I will absolutely go check it out. That's absolutely fantastic to see, man. What a win here for these boys.
Yeah,
we've been talking about it. We really needed it. You come off, I think, a draw PK win versus the worst team in the league, and now you go ahead and beat the best team in the league. That's the type of positive momentum that we like to see here, building up and everything. We still got a couple games in hands on some of these teams here. This schedule is just so goddamn weird. 5 games for Minnesota. What?
Yep. And on 12 points, so I guess points per game, they're probably the best now. And that's our next opponent, which will be next Friday. So we will preview that match on next Thursday's episode following the first team's round of 16 Open Cup match. But closing out this one, Abarca came in for Jimmy right after the goal. Mo Badawia came in for Adrian Gonzalez 2 minutes later. Ventura did actually put a goal in the 76th, but then ends up rightfully being called for a foul. The fucking linesman got that one right at the next row level. Elevate him. Chris Avila comes in for Irvin in the 85th. And then Chiesla gets a yellow card with one of the Ventura players getting in a shoving match. Good on Daniel there, man, defending his teammate who took a hard foul. I like to see that. That's my kind of yellow. So the guys see it out, man. Big 3 points. You're now on 10 points through 8 matches. So you can see the number of games played for all the teams here all over the place. Some teams have 10. One team has 5 matches played. So in terms of the total points, you're now on 10. That's tied for 11th. But you're 2 points out, ignoring the games played, 2 points out of 7th position. So again, on the road against the team that's in the 1 spot right now. Huge victory. Congrats to the guys.
Absolutely huge victory. And, keep this thing rolling, man. This is great to see. I love to see a Jimmy goal. Love to see healthy Alastue getting back to the mix here. Good performance out of Bonachera. Props to him for man of the match.
The best keeper in the world.
All right, Louisville City and Damian lost. We've got an update from our resident Louisville City fan, Trevor Allison. Another 2-match review here from Trev. So talking about that Open Cup match that we briefly touched on, he said, had to catch up on it since it was the same night. And during our match against El Paso, Damian started playing the whole match. Heartbreaking 1-0 loss. Most of the Minnesota starters didn't make the trip to Louisville. I called the lineup disrespectful when I saw it. Turns out the joke was on me. Minnesota gets off 6 total shots, 2 on target, and scored the 1 goal. Louisville had 15 shots, but only 2 on target. Would say the majority of the match was played the way Louisville City wanted, with Minnesota having more possession, but Louisville in control with their press and their direct attack. Got some decent chances, but just couldn't get a goal. The save from Damian was in the 60th minute. A shot from Julian Gressel, one of their starters they did bring along, and Damian saved easily. And the whistle was blown immediately for a Minnesota foul off the ball. The goal came just a few minutes later after a bit of possession for Minnesota in the final third. Good through ball that led to a hard, low cross put in by Darius Randall, crashing the back post. Then we're back in league play here on May 10th against Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So Damian in the lineup again on short rest against Pittsburgh and legendary lower level coach Bob Lilly. Another disappointing result with a 0-0 draw, but at least getting a point. Louisville had the better chances, but couldn't score for a second match in a row. Damian, 10 shots faced, 3 on target, saved all 3. Good save in the 7th minute. One he should make, but got down well to push it out of play. Easy save in the 33rd minute, and then faced a breakaway in the 43rd that was ultimately cleared out by a great tackle from Sean Tosh, one of the CBs there. Damian timed his challenge well, came out at the right time, and had good form to be big, but ultimately was not needed. This is the kind of play that he has maybe been too aggressive on in the past, and he timed it well here. Not a lot happened after halftime. Only 3 minutes of the 11 in the condensed game include the second half. Main involvement was another fast transition chance. The Pittsburgh striker had a lot of space, but the ball took him a bit wide, ended up taking a shot from about 12 yards out, wide of the 6-yard box, and well within Damian's save circumference. In the Remember Those Guys portion of the segment, Jackson Valte played a full 90 for the Riverhounds in a double pivot. Solid performance from Valte, clogging up space in the middle of the field. A slight annoyance from Trevor. Louisville City debuted this year's 3rd kit, which he likes, but has a different sponsor from the typical kit. Damian did not get a special keeper kit, so his jersey sponsor did not match. I think a fair, slight annoyance there from Trevor. So shout out to Trevor for keeping us posted on the best keeper in the world, and keep it up, Damian.
Hey, man. Damian right now, tops save percentage in USL, 82.6%, second in clean sheets. So he's doing his job, man. And like that Pittsburgh team just beat NYCFC, right? And Open Cup, right?
Yeah. Beat him
so,
at the death, yeah.
Love you, Damian. Miss you, dude. Bring back Monte con vos, man, or however the hell you say that.
Yeah, Monte con vos.
That's
good on you.
We need something. I was talking to Mike earlier, half of the Pirates, and he had something to say after that game last night, and it was like, we have no chemistry, no cohesion. Like these guys, I don't know if they like each other. And the fun stuff that the team was doing back then, I think it's a good thing. So if we can get some positive stuff like that for the club, I'm down to try whatever we have to do. If you guys want me to take you out to Copperhead, play some darts, lose some darts to me, I got you. All right.
Just don't bring Devo.
Yeah.
Goddamn devil. Man, and just jumping before we close it out with the nonsense. I don't think there's evidence that our guys like each other.
I agree. I have
they
not
at least
seen
don't
it.
hang out.
Nope.
The young guys do, but they've been here.
Exactly. The new guys have not been properly integrated into the community sort of thing here. And I think that's a problem. I do.
Yeah.
As corny as some of that stuff could be. Like we've all been there. I don't like going to work meetings and outings sometimes, but like this is a little different. This is different. This is a different job. So I would be very supportive to see that kind of stuff come back.
So closing it out with the nonsense, we'll start with the best ball. Ian, just wanted to do a quick recap of our transfer window draft that happened 2 weeks ago. Only 3 changes for us, and we are Austin. I'm not going to run through this entire thing here, but you can see some of the changes on the screen right now. We'll scroll over so you can have the kind of full draft board there. Everybody makes some changes. Of course, when you're coming out of this, everybody feeling good about their team. I don't know how I'm feeling about our team now, E. We haven't done the scores quite yet for last night's games in the midweek, but coming out of Saturday and Sunday's matches, North End Podcast in fourth, 27 points. I want to say our worst week of the season, maybe our second worst, but soccer-wise has now jumped us. Damn you, David Goss. 63 points. I believe soccer-wise's first win. Maybe their second, but either way, soccer-wise on a heater now, obviously shored up their team. We Are Austin is above Verde All Day by 1 point at the top. And now We Are Austin 50 points clear of us. And Moon Tower 54 points. Now they're like 35 points behind us and Verde Pendant 408, but they score 49. So they make up 22 on us. I don't know, man. I don't know how this is going to shake out from the midweek games, but looking at the box scores, like I don't think we did good again.
I don't think we did good again. And we had, 4 days where we're in first, and we talked a lot of shit. So
you got to get it in when you can.
Yeah, I guess so. It was well timed. Fuck.
All right. So, of course, with the full slate on Wednesday, we had picks at the northendpodcast.com. Unfortunately, the underdog entry becomes a 2-pick because Diego Rossi did not play last night. And then Santi Moreno, 2 shots, neither of them on target. If you did play some of the secondary picks, you could have managed, I believe, an entry or two of success there, but not our best week on the underdog side of things. So you lose a unit, still plus 12.71 on the season. And then the picks started off decent. We get Philly to win and over 1.5 in that game. That was in comeback fashion over the Galaxy, who still, despite going up 2, could not secure a victory. Cincy on the road, plus 130. Austin, of course, comes up short at the death. If Austin would have came through, I think we would have been exactly even on the week, if I'm not mistaken, because when all is said and done, you get a couple goals. You get a Denke goal. We got a goal from Buanga, but you end up losing 2.14 units. So at the books, we're plus 9.33 units still on the season. And of course, quick turnaround here. Saturday morning, you can go to the northendpodcast.com. If you're so inclined, you first read that match preview article from me, and then you check out the week 14 picks headed into Saturday and Sunday action over the weekend, E. So I think that does it here for us on another lengthy midweek episode here, episode 124 of the North End Podcast. We are only halfway through May, E. I'm about to put that fucking Jimmy Butler meme bent over on the scorer's table, just dog tired, because doing these after these just brutal losses and draws that feel like losses. I'm just glad that we are here together and everybody who's listening in with us going through this together. That's what makes it all worth it.
Yeah. Thank you. We need all the support and help we can get, particularly probably my liver. Yeah. Well, look, man, let's fucking shock the MLS on Saturday. Come on.
Yeah, why not?
Just why not?
I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw.
God, I'll skip out of you.
Yeah. Hey, look, Monterrey and Pumas drew Vancouver, so why not us?
Hey, we beat those teams last year.
Beat both of them.
That's right.
Oh, shit. All right, man. Anything else for you?
Nah, man, we got to get out of here. I'm getting too silly.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in, sticking with us on another hour and a half episode of the North End Podcast. We will be back shortly on Sunday, recapping Austin FC's match against the Vancouver Whitecaps, previewing Austin FC's round of 16 Open Cup match against the Orange team, and talking about everything else that happens in the Austin FC universe between now and then. Enjoy the rest of your week, everybody. We'll do the same. We'll see you back out there at the Q on Saturday and back here on Sunday for another episode. Until then, easy. And I'm Zach. Vamos Austin FC, everybody. Goodbye.